now. Bro.
Yeah.
But like the thing was is like mentally like I had only seen like the homie Duke. He showed me tagging, so I was like on tag, and I learned certain things.
And you were trying to get it from wherever you could because there was hardly any of it. I feel like
just like then I kind of saw like the bigger things like throw ups a bit, but it was really when I went to Psycho City.
Yeah, I painted over there when I was young. From a
that was like the first time I had seen Spy and Dream.
Yeah,
and that was it for me.
Right.
That's what really showed me and taught me like and it was also elevated. I had never seen graffiti elevated
all big.
Like
up on the ball.
They used like a cat with
a lift. They got up there.
I had never even had heard like what the hell like graffiti cats using a lift to do something elevated. Like that's crazy, right? What was that like the early 90s or like mid 90s? And it's like and that's really like and just the elevated thing of it. That's what really kind of like that. For me, was just like at that point in time, like
no, graffiti had an impact on me as far as like I'm a muralist now, and I was trained to paint on canvases, basically. You know what I mean, like little oil paintings and shit, which was great too. But I really believe that it was the graffiti working big and with productions with like 5 other artists, on a giant wall. It made me into muralist. I think big. I prefer to paint large, you know what I mean, than paint a little portrait on a tiny canvas. There's a different thing to that too. There's something. I really believe that I became a muralist because of graffiti. I mean, I'm both, but mostly that's what's paying the bills right now is those big murals. And I feel like graffiti, it was no big deal to paint. Oh, I'm just doing the same thing, but on a large scale, like we were with graffiti. And you're working with other people, and it's more collaborative sometimes, and it's more community. And it's like, you're painting with the, what do you call it? Also the elements, right? And shit, you can get shot out there, stabbed, right? There's all kinds of stuff that can happen out there being a graffiti artist. And the same things that you have to think about when you're a muralist. Yeah, for sure. Nice.
Dude, so with your book, one more time, they can get this book off of you. Yeah. So they'll follow you on Facebook.
I'm pretty much on
new
Facebook.
Book just came out, right?
Cio, just tap it
Cio.
with me. Cio Castaneda.
Castaneda.
Just send me a message. I could deliver them local. I could send them in the mail.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's what it is.
And tell me which one what's your favorite poem out of this whole book? I know you're going to tell me. You're probably going to tell me all of them.
Give us a sample. Give us what you think would be a good sample for artists.
Well,
Take your time.
This is
There's a lot of different dope. I mean, just your titles are amazing.
Yeah, that picture right there with the Golden Gate Bridge right there.
I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do one right here for y'all.
You got poems about making graffiti and murals and deciphering murals.
Yeah,
I noticed you have murals about just texture and life and fibers and all kinds of very abstract, very very interesting.
Well, yeah. So like my favorite poem though is the last one. It's called One Core, and it's I basically just kind of do it like it's basically about Norteño and Sureño gang violence.
Oh shit!
Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's actually what stemmed Bay Peace.
Okay.
Because I realized like there was so much violence like in California with with just the gang violence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just street violence.
And with our peeps, you know.
Yeah, and that's what really started. Just to like
Friends
really take it there. So it's all kind of tied in with just like the betterment of the people, like seeking. And that was what really popped it off was like seeking peace, and that's what like the Bay Peace is all about. Because then I realized though it's just like, damn, it's just not Latinos though. It's like, Tongans fighting Samoa. It's like black folks, homies fighting black folks, like Filipinos fighting Filipinos, Asian folks fighting Asians. Like everybo's fighting each other. And I was just like, it's way bigger than just Latinos.
Right.
It's a micro of the macro.
Right.
Yeah.
It's capitalism world. It's a colonialized
mind state. I've been hearing a lot about that when it comes to
and so that's
why we hate. You're like trained to hate yourself. So who else are you going to kill? The dude that looks like you. That's why you don't see too many blacks killing other races as much, or whites killing other. I mean, we're all killing the people we relate to the most, almost because we're hating ourselves. Why don't we hate those other people who are, oppressing us or whatever? It seems like we're hating our own kind.
Yeah, no, and
that goes back to colonialism.
And the government is stopping us from letting there be peace. Because a lot of times the folks have been trying to, like in the jail, for example,
divide and conquer.
Folks have been trying to do truces here and there.
Divide and conquer.
It takes a lot for there sometimes to be truces, but like when the system is trying to stop it, that's a whole other story. So who's
got the power? The blacks, the whites, or just the gun tower? We,
as people, need to really do it and really just. And so that's why One Core, the last one, is about like Norteño, the red and blue. It's and I kind of talk about it like reflecting like one as Sedona and one as the ocean.
Okay. Sedona is what? for our viewers.
It's just like Sedona's a spot in Arizona that for some reason just has all these red mountains.
Okay. I don't.
Yeah, so it's just a beautiful sacred place out there. It just has all these red mountains, and then the other reference is just the ocean. So I kind of just...
so blue and red, I get it.
And it's a 3-page. It's just always been a close one to me. But this one is called Water Under the Bridge. When it was all said and done, what else was left? There was hope tending its wounds, not letting go, to a distant dream that no one will ever know, grasping a love that has guided every step. Remember a moment in time in life we created memories and glided in joy, a day in our worlds when everything was right, the first tribe with a timeless mission. Endless tears, the harmonious screams echo, the dimming light on our path of enlightenment shines. Tears multiply the reasons to let go. Love, the safety net that saved all our minds. When it is all said and done, bless this life we live. Love keeps growing. All else is water under the bridge.
That's true that, brother. That's just deep.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was, brother. So that was really the last poem in the...
That's not the last one. That one's called Water Under the Bridge. That's the second to last one.
Okay, yeah.
And
but your favorite one was the
favorite one's the last one.
But it's long, you said.
So
yeah,
they have to buy your book in order for them to know what that your favorite your favorite poem is, right?
Yeah. What I like about it, man, is that all the topics are very urban, right? In a way, you're talking about some shit that's happening right now, and about some but it looks and it sounds very nature, like you're using nature. Natural imagery from where you're from, even with the eagle in the front of the book, is very a blend. Very much, it looks like a blending of the urban with the natural world. You know, am I mistaken by thinking that?
Well, you know, I mean, it's all kind of hand in hand, and that's what I'm talking about, the spirituality of it, and yeah. So it's like
you're letting it be known though with this, right? Yeah, okay. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just I've tried to always be connected, like, you know, with Mother Nature,
the earth.
Right. Just and I grew up skiing, actually,
even with the concrete all around us, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to always kind of just like walk around, like, you know, cities or anywhere I was at, and I always just like trip off, like just be like, dang, you know, that poor little tree got one. All we got is like the one little square for that one tree.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the nature right now. And actually, I remember like I'd always get sad when I'd see one of those blocks and then the tree just cut. It'd be like you know. Yeah. And then so not only do you have just one square for dedicated to nature, now you got one square with a tree stump that's cut, and it's just like, geez, it's really like almost a sad thing. It's like just seeing like a person. Which realistically, it's like seeing a dead person right there, just like not even buried right.
Right.
You know, like I don't know. If you're gonna take the tree out, take the whole tree out. You know,
right? They actually
roots
did.
And all.
Yeah,
they just did that.
I don't know.
The city came in and just ripped the stumps.
Oh, they're gonna take like 20 something right here, right? Or 70 or something, right? Up 24th and like I think down 24th.
They're taking them down.
They're literally gonna pull out like I heard like 80 something trees from up and down 24th and maybe Folsom or something.
Why? Well, 24th.
What's the point? Is it the palm trees? Or?
I really don't have.
Oh, I know.
Too much of
I'm
that,
asking you like if you work for the city or something.
I just heard like I read it somewhere maybe that they are like something.
They pulled that off because they were dead. They died, so that was glad. Yeah. But I was more happy that they went and got rid of those trunks because those things were just been there forever. There's a lot of roots coming out. It was a beautiful tree, man.
Yeah, but no, that's always been part of it. Like just reflecting with the ocean. Like you know, I grew up here on the coast. I'm a California kid. You know what I'm saying? Like coastal, like foggy, cold, like hot, cold days, you know, cold beaches, I love it. Yeah, I love, you know, it's that.
I love that.
I'm like one of those waves in the ocean, you know, just like.
That is one of the nice things about SF, that there's a lot of it's a good for a city.
Yeah.
Not downtown, but even there, because you still have the bay and the water and the wind and the seagulls and all that. But there's a good blend between the urban and nature.
Oh yeah, like Glen
that's
Park.
what I think that makes it so beautiful. Right,
Glen Park's beautiful.
That's like one of my favorite spots to go is Glen Park. You know, just walk through there.
And then you got those bonsai looking trees. Right, we have all those bonsai looking trees out here. I think they only grow here and in Japan.
Have you the Japanese tea garden?
Yeah, I've been there, of course.
That's beautiful.
Well, the whole park, right?
It's beautiful.
It's funny because when I lived on the East Coast, I remember they had a greenhouse at one of the parks out there in Brooklyn, And I went into the greenhouse, and the plants that were there were barely surviving. And they're like plants out here that grow like weeds all throughout without a greenhouse.
Yeah.
But they were barely, dude, they were all wilted over. Like, we're going to make it through this winter time inside a greenhouse, bro. It made me really appreciate,
Yeah, you got to appreciate
California, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, we're
not just the city, California.
This is a beautiful place to be, man. Like, it's amazing.
Don't tell anybody.
Oakland,
Keep moving over here.
imagine Oakland. Like, Oakland right now is like probably like the most cracking spot. Like,
Oh, dude, that's what I hear all the time.
Oakland is so cracking right now. Like the whole Bay, like San Jose is a dope spot, like with the history.
I feel like Oakland's like Brooklyn. Like before, it was like I'm talking about the art scene in the '80s. It was a Soho and all that, and that's where it was all at. And that place they still have it, and they still got galleries, but it's been there, done that. It's not the same. You're gonna have Madonna and Basquiat and all those out there again. So everybody's where it's cracking at is Brooklyn, where the artists can afford the rent. Right. And the same thing out here. Like SF is used to be where it's at now because of the ridiculous rent. All the artists are in Oakland, and that's where the art scene is happening right now. Every time I hang something up in Oakland, dude, original, it gets sold, which it says a lot right there. You know what I mean?
That's dope. Yeah, no, I mean, so it's just like, it's the energy here. Like, we're in a real, like, it's a real progressive area. Like,
melting pot.
Just all over. Yeah, it's an amazing, but partly, just there's, I guess, the Pacifico, like, I kind of like really kind of relate. I kind of just really feel like the Pacifico, like, that peace, that Pacifico. And so I think that's part of it. But then it's also like so progressive, and there's so much going, like,
so many different races, bro.
But I feel like it's like, I feel also
they get along, like, super cool. And LGBT and everything else.
Yeah, it's just an amazing place. Like, I really want to talk about like my last album, actually, Reflection.
Okay.
That's actually like a real special album to me because Foundation, the first one that I had talked about, like reflects a lot of just the foundation, realistically what it took to make my foundation as an MC, as a human, as a person, and I'm still working on that. Yeah. Bay Piece 1, Bay Piece 2 was like really started with like the whole Norteño, Sureño, like trying to get peace out there. Then it got bigger. But it's all about peace, getting peace in the Bay and beyond. Right. Reflection, my final album that I'm doing, my body of work. It's like it all boils down to like looking at yourself in the mirror. Right. It's coming out in 2020, which to me translates to like perfect vision. Okay. So
I hear you. So I keep saying 2020 is my year, going to be my year.
It's the year of perfect vision.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't realize it. That should okay.
It's the
We're partying next year.
We are partying next year.
Yeah,
every year.
Hey, cheers, man.
It's the year of perfect vision.
So we're not testing out a tequila. I mean, let's change the subject on you guys, but we're not trying out a tequila. But we like to have a little beverage from here time to time, alcoholic beverage. So we're going back to one of our staples, right, is Corona Extra, which is not too many people know, but apparently it's gluten-free.
It is?
Yeah. It's made out of corn. They don't use wheat. And there might be some gluten in it, but not enough. They can call it gluten-free, but not enough where it's going to affect someone with gluten problems, apparently. Corona, man, shit.
It still says made in Mexico. I thought it was bought by, like, Budweiser or something.
This is the real shit. There's different ones.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is the real one, right? Oh, it says, questions? Visit coronausa.com.
It's in Spanish.
What is? Yeah, it says, no, you know who owns Modelo's part? I didn't know that. But Cervecería Modelo Nava Mexico imported.
I just learned something new about Corona.
Everybody loves Coronas, man. So cheers, brothers.
Cheers. Salud.
Nice.
Salud.
It's cold, man. Salud.
Yeah, it's really cold. I like that. Eyes, bro. Eyes. We forgot eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Los ojos, güey.
Always look eye.
Look eyes. Los ojos.
Nice.
No, so Reflection is like the project. Reflection is the project of my lifetime.
Okay, so talk about that.
It's just like it's everything is everything. It's like my current work, like my producers that I work with forever. Right. Shout out to those homies. Oh man, they're like just a family of just talented musicians that I work with forever. They make like 70% of my just like I have 4 basically projects of music, 4 albums. They made about 70% of the beats.
Got it.
Oh wow!
So they're your producers.
Yeah, but Reflection, I'm not really doing like the Bay Piece. Just so everyone knows too, Bay Piece 1 and Bay Piece 2, it really has that Bay sound, like real old school kind of stuff, and that's kind of like how I meant it to be.
No, it does. I've heard it. It does sound
and that's it's an old school feeling. There's like new flows. same like golden era, like vibes, that, and it has that energy. So that kind of just wanted to like, it's like, if I could say it'd be like Herm Lewis, then like West Coast Bad Boys, and then such and such, and then Bay Peace would be somewhere out there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, gotcha.
Like that's the whole idea of Bay Peace. And so it's real, I kind of wanted to just capture that moment with all these cats. But then Reflection is just like, I'm going off on a limb. I have songs in Spanish, like with Favi.
Yeah.
I have song with I have like real fresh stuff. Like the production is like all sorts of different types of beats. And that for me,